Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna, devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Radha and Mati, when you're ready, you can start, Mati.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nastapradeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Chant 1, Chapter 17, Punishment and Reward of Kali. Text 1. Sutta Goswami said, after reaching that place, Maharaj Parikshit observed that the lower caste Sudra, dressed like a king, was beating a cow and bull with a club as if they had no owner. Text 2. The bull was white as a white lotus flower. He was terrified of the Sudra who was beating him, and he was so afraid that he was standing on one leg, trembling and urinating. Text 3. Although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her, she was now rendered poor and calfless. Her legs were being beaten by a Sudra. There were tears in her eyes, and she was distressed and weak. She was hankering after some grass in the field. Text 4. Maharaj Parikshit, well equipped with arrows and bow and seated on a gold embossed chariot, spoke to him, the Sudra, with a deep voice sounding like thunder. Text 5. Ho, who are you? You appear to be a strong, and yet you dare kill within my protection those who are helpless. By your dress, you pose yourself to be a godly man king, but by your deeds you are opposing the principles of the twice born Kshatriya. Text 6. You rogue, do you dare beat an innocent cow? Because Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the carrier of Gandhiva bow, are out of sight. Since you are beating the innocent in a scheduled place, you are considered a culprit and therefore deserve to be killed. Text 7. Then he, Maharaj Parikshit, asked the bull, who are you? Are you a bull, a white, has a white lotus, or are you a demigod? You have lost 3 of your legs and are moving on only one. Are you some demigod causing us grief in the form of a bull? Text 8. Now, for the first time in a kingdom, well protected by the arms of the kings of the Kuru dynasty, I see you grieving with the tears in your eyes. Up till now, no one on the earth has ever shed tears because of the royal negligence. Text 9. O son of Surabhi, you need lament. You need lament no longer now. There is no need to fear this low-class Sudra. And O mother cow, as long as I am living as the ruler and subduer of all the envious men, There is no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you. Text 10:11. O chastity one, the king's good name, duration of the life and good rebirth vanish. When all kinds of living beings are terrified by miscreants in his kingdom, it is certainly the prime duty of the king to subdue first the suffering of those who suffer. Therefore, I must kill this most wicked man because he is violent against other living beings. Text 12. He, Maharaj Parikshit, repeatedly addressed and questioned the bull thus, O son of Surabhi, who has cut off your 3 legs in the state of the king, who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. There is no one as unhappy as you. Text 13. O bull, you are offenseless and thoroughly honest. Therefore, I wish all good to you. Please tell me of the proprietor of those multinationals which blacken the reputation of the sons of the Partha. Text 14. Whoever cause offenseless living being to suffer much fear me anywhere and everywhere in the world by cubing dishonest miscreants, one automatically benefits the offenseless. Text 15. An upstart living being who commits offense by torturing those who are offenseless shall be directly uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of the heaven with the armor and the decorations. Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. When you're ready, you can start, Prabhu. Vamsi, Vadana, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Saiva Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtapraye Svabhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamarine Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangre Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschachade Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today we are looking into chapter 17, text 1 to 15. So the theme is continuing from the previous chapter. Just a recap of chapter 16. So Maharaj Parikshit is wandering in his kingdom, and he comes across a bull and a cow, and he hears the conversation between the bull and the cow, and that's what happened in the previous chapter. So Dharma, in the form of a bull, is asking questions to Dharini in the form of the cow, and because Dharma has lost out of the 4 principles of religion, he has lost, which represents his 4 legs. He has lost all 3 legs, and he's standing on 1 leg, which is in Kali Yuga. Apparently, only truthfulness is still prevalent in some places. All the other 3 principles of religion are destroyed, and it's already gone in Kali Yuga. So while Dharma is standing in 1 leg, he's inquiring to Dharini, why you are shedding tears, what happened? So she is giving reasons, and one of the primary reasons she is giving is she is feeling intense separation from Krishna, who has wound up his pastimes and his and has left this planet. So in that context, now Maharaj Parikshit is coming to the place where he is actually seeing Kali personified, torturing both the bull and the cow. So in text 1, after reaching that place, Maharaj Parikshit observed a low caste Shudra dressed like a king, beating up a cow and a bull with a club, as if they had no owner. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that the principles of sign of age of Kali is that the lower caste Shudras, that is men without Brahmanical culture and spiritual initiation, will be dressed like uninitiated kings. So Prabhupada, throughout the different purports in the coming verses, Srila Prabhupada writes that generally, according to the Vedic culture, one who's having good understanding about the Vedic culture and having some Brahmanical qualities are supposed to be ruling the state or that particular planet. If even though they are Kshatriyas, it doesn't matter. But if they are under the guidance of Brahmanas or they have Brahmanical qualities, if they rule, then that place would be ruled very well and the citizens would be happy. But unfortunately, because in Kali Yuga, Shudras are being appointed as administrators, there is no protection for animals like cows. So Prabhupada writes that in the age of Kali, the degraded Vaishyas, the mercantile men who are supposed to be engaged in agriculture and cow production, they are actually selling cows for slaughter. That is the unfortunate state in Kali Yuga. Just for the sake of some money, even the so-called Vaishyas are selling cows for slaughtering. So in text 2, Prabhupada writes, he is comparing the bull, because the translation states the bull was as white as a white flower, but he was terrified. Bull was terrified by the Shudra who was beating him, and he was so afraid that on one leg he was trembling and urinating. So Prabhupada writes, what does that white actually mean? The next, so Prabhupada writes, white means which are spotlessly white. The principles of religion represents white color, like the white lotus flower, which will be attacked by uncultured Shudra population of the age. Right? Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. Padma Purana states that predominant of the population of Kali Yuga are Shudra or predominantly Shudra or below Shudra. Right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Mostly all of us are Shudra in qualities in Kali Yuga. So such Shudra-like population will defy the principles of religion, and persons who are religiously endowed will be terrified by such men. Because of such population, people are generally terrified and they make their own religions, like any kind of isms and cults will spring up in Kali Yuga. And Prabhupada writes, the state will be declared to be secular or without any particular principle of religion. There will be no principle of religion followed. And as a result, total indifference to the principles of religion will happen, and the citizens will be free to act as they like. It is a very important line for us to meditate upon. Prabhupada writes, the citizens will be free to act as they like without respect for sadhu, shastra and guru. This is exactly what in different pages of Srimad Bhagavatam we see many kings from Maharaj Yudhishthira, Prithu Maharaj, so many examples in the pages of Bhagavatam. They all act always on the guidance of sadhu, guru and shastra. Maharaj Ambarish, right? Even for breaking fast, he goes and consults brahmanas, right? Just for breaking fast. What to speak of other things, right? But here, Prabhupada writes, in Kali Yuga, nobody cares about anything. Sadhu, Shastra, Guru. Prabhupada once famously said, I heard in one class, that Prabhupada famously said to his disciples, not to outside people, he said that if you all cooperate with me, we can take over the world in 18 days. This is Prabhupada's words directly. If you all cooperate with me, we can take over the world in 18 days. Prabhupada told us. And his disciples said, Prabhupada, then we will make you the king of this world. Prabhupada said, no, I will not be the king, but I will be the guru of this world. This is what Prabhupada is meaning. Because there are no persons in Sattva or Shuddha Sattva to guide people in this world. We need such people. Many people think, oh, why do we need sannyasis? Why do we need people in the renounced order? Because if you don't have people in the renounced order who are representing sadhu and guru, then there is no guidance for people in general. Right? We cannot understand Shastra. And the bull standing on one leg indicates the principles of religion are gradually diminishing. And in text 3, so the cow is responding now. Although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her, she has now rendered poor and calfless, and tears were coming in her eyes, and she was distressed and weak. So Prabhupada writes, again, one line makes a lot of meaning. Milking the cows means drawing the principles of religion in liquid form. So Prabhupada insists the importance of milking the cow and taking the principles of religion in liquid form. So something for us to meditate whenever we are actually drinking milk. Prabhupada is saying milk is a representation of principles of religion in liquid form. And Prabhupada gives examples, great rishis and munis, even Srila Sukadeva Goswami, we saw in the previous pages of Srimad Bhagavatam that whenever he was wandering, he used to go to a householder's home and he used to stay in that place only until the time they milk the cow, and he just gets a cup of milk and he leaves. Right? Many people sustain with just milk. We see even our Goswamis, buttermilk and milk is what they sustain. And Prabhupada writes, the cow's milk is required for sacrificial fire, and by performing sacrifices, the householder can become happy. But the cow's calf not only is beautiful at look, but also gives satisfaction to the cow, and so she delivers as much as milk as possible. Right? When the calf and the cow are together, then the cow becomes naturally happy, and by that happiness, she gives milk. I heard from one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, he mentioned in the New Vrindavan community, which is there in West Virginia, this is way back. Maybe those cows are still living, I'm not sure. But in the 70s, early 70s, there used to be a cow, I forgot the name of the cow, which used to give 70 liters of milk every day. I'm not kidding, 70 liters of milk every day. Prabhupada also gave a name for that cow, I forgot. That is because when the cows are naturally happy with their calves, no abundancy for milk. They naturally give milk. But in Kali Yuga, the calves are separated from the cows as early as possible for purposes which cannot be mentioned in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada is being very generous. He is not mentioning. All of us know what's happening to the calves. Right? So many YouTube videos are there. These greatly sinful acts are responsible for all troubles in present society. People do not know what they are doing in the name of economic development. Right? We do not know. All these things are happening, and it is happening under the guidance of the administrative people on this, all the countries, not just this country. Everywhere this is happening. Even in India, unfortunately. And Prabhupada says, foolish people don't know how one earns happiness by making the cows and bulls happy. Simply by making cows and bulls happy, everyone can be happy. And in text 4, Maharaj Parikshit, well equipped with arrows and bows, seated on a gold embossed chariot, spoke to the Shudra with a deep voice sounding like thunder. Prabhupada writes that someone like Maharaj Parikshit, an administrative king with full majestic authority, well equipped with weapons, can challenge the agents of Kali. Only such a person can challenge the age of Kali. Then only it is possible to counteract the degraded age. Because in absence of such strong executive heads like Maharaj Parikshit, there is always disruption of tranquility. It is not possible if there is no personalities like Maharaj Parikshit. And then in text 5, and he is now having a conversation with the Shudra. Who are you? You appear to be strong, and yet you dare kill with my production those who are helpless. So he is asking questions to the Shudra. Prabhupada writes in the purport, generally the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas are called twice born because of their higher classes of men. There in one birth by parental conjugation. And there is another birth of cultural rejuvenation by spiritual initiation, by a bona fide acharya or a spiritual master. So they have to be twice born, right? All of us who have taken shelter of a guru and taken initiation, we are all twice born. The first birth is from our father and mother who gave this material body, and the spiritual birth is given by Guru, Sri Guru. So it doesn't matter what ashram or varna one is representing. Prabhupada is writing, the Kshatriya king is considered to be the representative of God to give protection to the helpless and chastise the miscreants. That's one of the qualities for a Kshatriya king. Thus, the administrative head under whose noses such things happen are representatives of God in name only. So if somebody says that, oh, I am actually administrative, but the problem is if they're not giving protection to all the living beings within them, then they are just simply administrators in name only. They are not true administrators. Such powerful administrators are rulers of the poor citizens by dress or office, but factually they are worthless. Lower class men without the cultural assets of the twice born. Therefore, in the age of Kali, everyone is unhappy due to the maladministration of the state. Prabhupada writes a very punching point. The modern human society is not twice born by spiritual culture. This is why Prabhupada said he wants to be the guru of this world. Of course, he was for the decade or 11 years that he changed this world. That's why he was called the Jagat Guru, right? Even news reporters were very curious. Who is this person? What is he doing to this world? Right? He was not trying to take money from people and trying to enjoy life. He was trying to be a true sadhu and a guru to everyone, a true well-wisher, so that we all can wake up and be twice born. That is the most important thing. We can come to spiritual culture. His legacy is continuing by his mercy. His disciples are continuing that mercy so that people can become twice born and we can have an access to the spiritual culture, which was not existing. Which was existing, but people are not taking it up. And then in text 6, it is written, Maharaj Parikshit is again chastising the Shudra. You rogue, do you dare beat an innocent cow because Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the carrier of Gandiva bow, are out of sight? So Maharaj Parikshit is saying, just because Lord Krishna and Arjuna are not here, the associates of the age of Kali take advantage of this lawless kingdom and arrange to kill innocent animals like the cow in secluded slaughterhouses. That's what is happening, unfortunately, today, right? Such murderers of animals stand to be condemned to death by the order of a pious king like Maharaj Parikshit. For a pious king, the culprit who kills an animal in a secluded place is punishable by death penalty, exactly like a murderer who kills an innocent child in a secluded place. It's not different. But the problem is many people think that, oh, animals don't have souls. That is the main problem. Prabhupada had a big conversation with a priest in one of the European countries, a church priest. Thus, Maharaj Parikshit asked the bull, "Oh, who are you? Are you a bull as white as white lotus, or are you a demigod?" So Maharaj Parikshit therefore was astonished to see such a horrible scene. And he inquired whether the bull was not a demigod, assuming such a wretched condition to indicate the future of the cow and the bull. So Maharaj Parikshit was asking, are you a representation of a demigod or a white lotus? Just to show the condition of how Kali Yuga is going to look in the future. In text 8, now for the first time in a kingdom well protected by the arms of the kings of Kuru dynasty, Maharaj Parikshit is saying, I see you grieving with tears in your eyes. It has never happened before, Maharaj Parikshit is saying, during the reign of the Kuru dynasty. In purport, Prabhupada writes, the protection of the lives of both human beings and animals is the first and foremost duty of a government. First and foremost duty of a government. And Prabhupada is revealing his heart in this purport. It is simply horrible for a pure-hearted soul to see organized animal killing by the state in this age of Kali. Right? Prabhupada cannot bear, right? He may be translating, but he's pouring his heart here because he's such a pure-hearted soul. He's saying, I cannot see organized animal killing happening in this world. And that too of the cows and the bulls, right? Maharaj Parikshit was lamenting. Similarly, Maharaj Parikshit was lamenting for the tears in the eyes of the bull, and he was astonished to see such an unprecedented thing in his good kingdom. Men and animals were equally protected as far as life was concerned. That is the way in God's kingdom, right? We see in the third canto also, all the animals and the insects, everyone are united together in kingdom of God. We see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he went to Vrindavan, when he entered into the Jarikan forest, all the animals came towards him, and the tigers and deers were hugging each other. Right? This is the way. When God is in center, of course, we cannot imitate that. We cannot make animals come together, but at least humans can come together. But at least we can give protection to animals. We don't have to mercilessly kill animals, right? That is spiritual kingdom of God. We cannot just keep killing animals and say that after this life, I'll go to be with God. That's not going to happen. And Maharaj Parikshit is saying, "Oh son of Surabhi, you need lament no longer now. There is no need to fear this low-class Shudra. And oh mother cow, as long as I am living," Maharaj Parikshit is saying, "as a ruler and subduer of all envious men, there is no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you." So Maharaj Parikshit is saying, Prabhupada says in the purport that protection of bulls and cows and all other animals can be possible only when there is a state ruled by an executive like Maharaj Parikshit. We need such executive kings who are twice born, even though he was a Kshatriya. And Prabhupada gives why Surabhi is mentioned. Right? Prabhupada gives a significance of why Surabhi is mentioned in the verse. Prabhupada says in the spiritual planet, Surabhi is the name of the cows who exist along with Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. As men are made after the form and features of the Supreme Lord, like how we have the form as the Supreme Lord with 2 hands and two legs and 2 eyes and 2 ears. Similarly, the cows are made after the form and features of the Surabhi cows in the spiritual kingdom. In the material world, the human society gives all protection to human being, but there is no law to protect the descendants of Surabhi who can give all protection to men by supplying the miracle food milk. Prabhupada uses this word miracle food milk because Prabhupada says in other places that simply by taking milk, which has all the necessary ingredients for sustenance, one can become healthy and one can have good spiritual substance in the brain to understand spiritual subject matters. Prabhupada says in one of the purport, by taking milk, I mean, especially milk which is coming from protected cows, right? Many devotees are very, very merciful to do that. In Gita Nagari, it is happening, which is 2 hours from here, where they are protecting cows with love and care, and that milk is being supplied to local communities. Right? When such milk is being taken, there is a lot of difference. And then the human society should recognize the importance of the cow and bull, and thus give all protection to these important animals, following the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit. Prabhupada writes, why we have to give protection to cows? That also Prabhupada writes, because Krishna likes cows, right? We all recite, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha. Prabhupada writes, because Krishna is very kind to cows and Brahmanas. Because if we give protection to cows and Brahmanas, Krishna will be pleased, because that is the essence of whatever we do, right? In spiritual life is to please Krishna. And text 10 and 11, Prabhupada writes in the purport, when there is some disturbance caused by wild animals in a village or a town, generally the local police take action. Similarly, the duty of the government is to kill at once all bad social elements such as thieves and dacoits and murderers. The same punishment is also due to animal killers, because the animal of the state are also praja. Praja means not just human beings. Prabhupada is clarifying. Any living entity within a state or a jurisdiction, even in the forest, Prabhupada writes, they are all praja and they must be given protection by the government. It is not that I'm living peacefully and I go to the forest and I hunt deers or I hunt whatever animal. That is not the way of living. We cannot imitate what the Kshatriyas did many years ago. And then Prabhupada writes again in the purport that the tiger can kill a lower animal for his sustenance, but a man cannot kill an animal for his subsistence. That is the law of God, who has created the law that a living being subsists by eating another living being. That is true. Even in the first or the second canto, that verse is there. One living entity subsists based on another living entity, right? That is the way of living. But Thus, the vegetarians are also living by eating another living being. Therefore, the law is that one should live only by eating specific living beings as ordained by the law of God. The Ishopanishad directs that one should live by the direction of the Lord and not by one's own sweet will. A man can subsist on varieties of grains, fruits, and milk ordained by God, and there is no need of animal food, right? Save and except in particular cases, Prabhupada writes. For people, there are some very emergency cases where people are allowed. We will see even in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, the fourth canto, but that is very emergency case. Or people who cannot control their tongue. Some leniency is given in Shastra. But otherwise, people can very well live by eating varieties of grains, fruits, and milk. And easily we can sustain ourselves. And Maharaj Parikshit was pious according to the scriptural codes, whereas the modern politician goes by his personal belief and sentiments. That is the problem, right? No one is guided by a guru like Prabhupada. If somebody, Prabhupada tried actually, he tried to talk to many governments when he was there present on this earth. He tried to talk to many governments, tried to establish all these principles, but nobody was willing to listen. Unfortunately, that's the age of Kali. And Prabhupada writes, the human life is especially meant for knowing the signs of God, but foolish creatures, especially in this age of Kali, instead of knowing God scientifically, make propaganda against the religious beliefs, even though they are always bound by the laws of God, by the symptom of birth, death, old age, and disease. Right? We have forgotten our main aim in human life. And then in text 12, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the kings or executive heads of all states must know the codes of Lord Krishna, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and must act accordingly in order to fulfill the mission of human life, which is to make end all miseries of material conditions. One who knows the codes of God, Lord Krishna, can achieve this end without difficulty. See Prabhupada's writing. Anyone who knows the code of God, Lord Krishna, can achieve this end without any difficulty. In a state where the codes of Lord Krishna are followed, no one is unhappy. Right? Doesn't have to be state, even at home. If you really follow, if you really feel Krishna is our aim, and if we keep Krishna in all of our activities in center, Guru, to please Guru and Krishna always, then no one can be unhappy. This is a statement by Prabhupada, whether we are following or not, but Prabhupada is giving clues how to be happy. Where such codes are not followed, the first sign is that the three legs of the representative of religion are cut off, and thereby all miseries follow. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. If we can please Krishna in whatever we are doing, all of us are going through purificatory process in the path of bhakti. But all of us, we have to keep this in mind that the only aim for us in whatever we are doing is to always remember Krishna and always please Krishna and never forget him in this process, right? If we can do this, Prabhupada is guaranteeing that we can be happy always. And in text 13, the reputation of the reign of Maharaj Ramachandra and that of the kings who followed in the footsteps of Maharaj Ramachandra, like the Pandavas and their descendants, are never to be forgotten. Why? Because in their kingdom, offenseless and honest living beings were never in trouble. So Prabhupada is giving stress on offenseless and honest living beings. Right? Those who are really following the codes of Lord Krishna, they're always living happily. And the bull and the cows are the symbols of the most offenseless living being, because even the stool and urine of these animals are utilized to benefit human society. Prabhupada is saying why? Another reason Prabhupada is giving. Of course, the first reason is cows and bulls are very dear to Krishna, but then they are the most offenseless living being because even the excreta or the oblation of these animals are very sacred, like the urine and stool, right? The stool is used as an antiseptic and urine is used for curing many diseases, even the most deadly disease like cancer, right? Many of us are not even aware of that. So they are very offenseless. So to kill such animals is a very grave sin, Prabhupada writes. And then in text 14, dishonest miscreants flourish because of cowardly and impotent executive heads of state. But when the executive heads are strong enough to curb all honest, dishonest miscreants in any part of the state, certainly they cannot flourish. When the miscreants are punished, automatically all good fortune follows. And Prabhupada writes, The devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful and offenseless. Something for us to meditate on, right? I might claim myself to be a devotee, wearing tilak and kantimala, dhoti kurta, everything. But Prabhupada is saying what it means to be a devotee of Krishna are by nature peaceful and offenseless. Never offend anybody. Not like myself. Never offend anybody, and we should always be peaceful. And therefore, it is the prime duty of the state to arrange to convert everyone to become a devotee of Krishna. See, why Prabhupada wanted to have some conversations with the government? He was not, he didn't want money or power. He wanted everyone to become devotees of Krishna, because only by becoming a devotee, actual devotee of Krishna, not by outside appearance. Our Acharya says that outside dress doesn't matter. It is at heart, am I a devotee? Because Prabhupada gives, it's the qualities which makes a devotee, it is not the outside dress. Peaceful and offenseless. And when everyone becomes a devotee, thus automatically there will be peaceful, offenseless citizens. Then the only duty of the king will be to curb the dishonest miscreants. Then it becomes very easy to manage the state or the country, Prabhupada writes, when everyone becomes a devotee of Krishna. An upstart living being, text 15, who commits offenses by torturing those who are offenseless shall directly be uprooted by me, Maharaj Parikshit is saying. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, denizens of the heavenly kingdom. So Maharaj Parikshit says in the translation, even though they are denizens of heaven. So Prabhupada he takes that last word of the translation and he expands in the purport. The denizens of the heavenly kingdom are called Amara, deathless. You may think, oh really, they are deathless? Prabhupada gives reason. Because they live such long life, he gives example of Lord Brahma and Indra and other planets, where one day on earth, in the other heavenly planets, one day is equal to 6 months of this planet. One day on heavenly planets is 6 months on this planet. Similarly, Lord Brahma lives for many, many millions of years. So compare it to us, where we live only maximum up to 100 years, if you are very lucky. They live long time. So they may be called Amara or deathless. But Maharaj Parikshit challenges even such denizens of heaven if they torture the offenseless. See, such a king he was. He was not scared of anybody. If somebody goes out of the code of the law that was laid by Krishna, because he wants to please Krishna. This means that the state executive head must be as strong as Maharaj Parikshit, Prabhupada writes, so that he may be determined to punish the strongest offenders. It should be the principle of a state executive head that the offender of the codes of God is always punished. So, anyone who's offending the offenseless living beings, from cows and bulls, and even the devotees, they will be punished. Apparently, some devotees may be killed in so many other instances, but the people who are disturbing devotees and other offenseless living beings cannot live peacefully. That is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll conclude here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'm offering my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees in the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.